Hi everyone, today I just wanted to sit down and chat with you. I feel like there are so many times throughout the week that I want to connect with you guys, and sometimes I'm waiting for a brand's approval on a video, or I have this high concept production type style video that I want to do and I just don't press record. And then I realize that most of the time I just want to catch you up on life and some of the thoughts I've had. One of the comments I get all the time is that many of you feel like you are in my kitchen, like having coffee with a friend. I want these sit down videos to be just like that. Sorry, there's still construction upstairs. They're putting the handles on all of my cabinets. The counter is coming tomorrow. So during this renovation, which started January 3rd, we have brought over 7 carfuls to Savers. 7 that I can remember. My cousin, who is our carpenter, came here with his dump truck, which we filled not only with stuff from the construction, but some dumpster stuff, old furniture from the house and things like that. And oftentimes before I got rid of something, I would ask myself, well, I wonder if the kids want it. I wonder if my mom wants it. I wonder if my neighbor wants it. Generally, I came to the conclusion that nobody wants my stuff. My kids don't want it. I called a couple consignment stores and sent them photos of things that I had. They didn't want it. I'm not really up for listing all of the big ticket items in the house. I could do Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, but I mean, generally, nobody wants your stuff. And I think that's been a hard realization for me to come to. And I think about mainly my kids when I say nobody wants your stuff. I think a lot of the things that I tend to hold on to, I think, oh, maybe my grandkids will want it, or maybe the kids will want it when they move to their house. My kids really value experiences, and there are not a lot of things that my kids want from me. There is the occasional espresso machine, like my son Anthony took with him back to Hoboken this weekend. He was very excited about that. It was the Terra Cafe one that I had for years, but as I look at all of the stuff that I have removed from my kitchen for this renovation, when I look at the piles now and think of it in terms of me bringing this old stuff back into my beautiful kitchen, I feel like despite the fact that we've already done 7 carfuls and donated 7 carfuls of things to Savers, that there is still stuff that I'm not going to bring back into that space. Because what I've learned, and I feel like I'm a broken record, but between living a more minimalist life in our condo in Boston and having far less stuff there, and now during this renovation, I just feel like I am getting beaten over the head with the fact that I have way too much stuff and nobody wants my stuff. I think I did a video with regards to reselling, like nobody wants your old stuff. And I was talking about having a hard time letting go of inventory, but now I'm applying that to my own life. There were certain items that had been sitting in my inventory for many years, and I just had to come to the realization that, you know, some of these items I couldn't sell for $5. And at that point, it wasn't even worth selling. It wasn't worth what I pay Tina to process these items or to ship these items, to take up the real estate in my home for inventory. And now I'm feeling that way with other things that are taking up inventory in my head and also physical inventory in my home. And what I noticed with each time I went to Savers to drop things off is the more I got rid of, the more I wanted to get rid of. The easier it was to let go of things, the more incentivized I was to make more space in my home. It feels better to not have a ton of stuff around me. And I do want to start kind of this informal series, I don't even know what I want to call it, just like real talk with you, where I go over some of the realizations I've had during my renovation, my weight loss, my move to Boston, turning 50, revamping my business, downsizing my business. So much clarity has come to me through the years based on stuff and letting go of stuff, and why I have so much stuff, and why I'm a collector, and why I am so excessive when I go down a rabbit hole and get excited about something. Like you can see it on my other channel with pens and fountain pens and stationery. Like it's very easy for me to latch on to something that is interesting to me, and I go down the rabbit hole. And thrifting was a little bit like that, if I'm being honest. I've always been a collector. I've always loved the hunt, and I've had a lot of time to reflect on my behaviors through the years. And I just want to have a conversation with you. And I wonder if any of you maybe you're in a similar phase of life like I am. Have you had these thoughts? Like, do you wonder how you accumulated so much stuff? Do you buy things or hold on to things with the intention of passing them down to your kids? Do your kids even want them? I don't know. I've been having a lot of these thoughts lately, and I think a lot of it is prompted by the small quarters that I've been forced to live in during this renovation. So this house is big. It's not that. It's little things like when I lost my kitchen and my stove and I didn't have any appliances. I mean, I have my refrigerator down here in the basement and I had a microwave oven. That's what I was left with, in the bathroom sinks. What were the things that I prioritized in the space that I had? And I set up like a faux kitchen in Rocco and Anthony's bathroom. So they have like a double sink, and in the center, of course, is my coffee pot. And I brought up a little basket. What food did I put in the basket? What did I have for dishes? And I realized over these past 9 weeks during renovation how little I could actually survive on. I mean, it wasn't always pleasant. I'm dying to have a kitchen sink again. I'm not saying I enjoyed it, but I'm saying I realized what was important. Just like when we moved into the space in Boston, I knew I didn't want to clutter that space. Every time I go to Boston now, it kind of feels like a sanctuary because there's not a lot of stuff there. I don't really associate Boston with work too much. I usually do a lot more walking when I'm in Boston, so I feel like I'm a little bit healthier when I'm there. Having less in Boston really felt good, and it was the first time in my life that I lived in a space with a lot less stuff intentionally. The bulk of the things that I'm listing now for my reselling business have been things from my own home. And as I've mentioned in many videos, when I thrift now, I'm taking home so much less, and I don't know what's happened to me, but I feel like it's been growth. And I just wanted to share my thoughts on it. And I just wonder if anybody else is going through this. So there's this pile on top of my dining room table, which is in my dining room, which is the room on the main level that we've been kind of living out of during the renovation. So Jay got a bunch of boxes off of Walmart, and we packed everything in moving boxes and just stacked them along the walls all around us. And if we do have a meal, like a crock pot meal or something like that, we'll eat in the dining room. I have a few plates and a few utensils, and all around me is all the stuff that in theory I am moving back into the kitchen. Tomorrow our countertops go in. We started to move some food back into the pantry. I think 5 years ago when I looked at this pile of stuff, I would have thought, oh, this is great. Like, I have all this stuff. I'm so excited. I have all these things for my kitchen, all these gadgets. I've already, like I said, brought 7 loads to Savers, and now I'm looking at what I'm left with and thinking, what of this do I really need? What do I really want to take with me into this next chapter? So let me know if you'd be interested in that, like just actually going through that pile of stuff on one of these like real talk type of videos and just deciding what stays, what's going into the new kitchen, what's not. Jay and I have been having a lot of fun drinking old fashions during this renovation. I've never drank bourbon in my entire life. I've tasted it, but it's never been my thing at all. And when we were in Florida, we went to a restaurant I think it was called Martha's Vineyard, at the hotel that we were staying at, and we decided to get an old fashioned. And for whatever reason, we loved it. And when we came home, we decided to make our own old fashioned. My husband's really into tiki culture, and we started a little business called Tiki J, and we sold clothing for workouts that was kind of like Hawaiian pattern, which we need to get back to that. But Jay's really into tiki stuff. So the large bookcase that we had in the middle of our big room between the kitchen and the living room where we had our farm table was just a huge bookshelf cluttered with stuff, pictures and vases, stuff that I didn't have a home for would go there. And we decided to repurpose that and make it a tiki bar. Jay has also made his own wine for several years, and we just have like a lot of barware and we entertain a lot. So we thought we would make that bookcase a mid-century modern vibe tiki bar. I say to Jay, tiki, not tacky. So it's a very fine line between having like a tiki bar that doesn't look tacky. So I'm trying to fit it into my little neutral beige aesthetic. But we've had a lot of fun rebranding that, so to speak. It has just given that space a purpose. And we're so excited about finding just the right things to go in there. And there are things that I thought we would keep for the bar that we're getting rid of. But what's been crazy to me is thinking about all the stuff that was in that space, the knickknacks and the vases that we didn't use. Just like, I don't even know what we had there. Trays, candles, so many candles. It just all seems so unnecessary to me now. I will never, ever, ever be a minimalist. I really mean that. Like, I wish I could be, but I like stuff too much, but I'm liking stuff a lot less. And I think sometimes one of the essential things to figuring out what you really need or want or truly desire is to remove stuff from the space. I had a designer a long time ago from this store. I used to shop at a home goods store, who said to me, the only way you're going to figure out what you really want in a space is to remove what you don't want. So in this particular instance, I think it was an end table or a lamp or something that I had between two chairs that I just kept for years. And I said, oh, I have this old junky table or this lamp. And she's like, well, as long as that's there, you're not going to figure out what you really want. So sure enough, when I removed it, it came into focus what I really wanted in that space or didn't want. And I think with this renovation, that's what happened. Everything went out of the space so that they could do the floors and they could paint and we could get new cabinets put in. And now that everything's been gone, I don't even remember half the stuff. I am like afraid to open some of these boxes. Well, not afraid. I'm actually happy because to the extent that I open things and I don't want them, I'm just going to let them go. So I'm really excited to put things away and then test it out, see if it's something that I'm going to use. But I think that the bookcase and the bar that we're so excited about is a really good indication of repurposing an area and realizing that all the other stuff we just didn't want and we weren't using. We're not going out and buying a bunch of stuff. Jay has had his tiki mugs up in his closet. I joke with him because some of the tiki mugs are really ugly and I'm like, oh, I don't know if that one is going to make the cut because we have cabinets underneath. I'm like, those are going to go in the enclosed cabinets. He's got like Santa tiki mugs in different themes. It will almost be swapped out with seasonal decor and we'll just have a good time with it. We did go antiquing last weekend. We found these mid-century modern glasses that had this gold pattern on them. They were really beautiful and we got the whole set for $48. I do have a video of that coming out and that's going to replace a bunch of odd glasses that we had that we're going to get rid of. For Valentine's Day, I got Jay the ice cube trays, the big block ice cube that you use in an old fashioned. They have a thing that makes the letter T in the ice cube. So we've gotten just a few select things for the tiki bar and for our old fashioned drinks that have been really fun for us. And it just feels so much more meaningful. And as we've gone through things, we've realized that we have a lot of wine bottles and wine openers and books about tiki drinks and tiki mugs that were just kind of scattered and felt much more cluttered around the house. And now we're bringing it all together and we're giving that whole bookcase a new purpose and it's been really fun. Another thing I've learned about myself, and I'll talk more about this in my video where I think I'm going to do a video talking about all my different collections and why, and I don't know, some reflection on that. But I've learned through my collections, most recently with my fountain pens, that the meaningful ones are the ones that I want to hold on to. The things that I purchase just because I'm bored and like surfing on the internet and see that something's a good deal, those are never the things that really matter to me. The pens that I bought while we were in Italy or on vacation or that Jay got me as an anniversary or birthday gift, those are the ones that are really special. They may not be the most beautiful pens, but they have a lot of meaning to me. And so recently as I'm purging through stuff, if there's A, no meaning attached to it and B, not a purpose, sometimes there's no meaning and no purpose. Sometimes there's meaning, but no purpose. And I think those are the things that are hard to let go of. But I have learned that it's getting a little bit easier to let go. Maybe that's the whole message of this sit down is the more you let go, the more you let go. And it actually feels really good. And one of the final thoughts I'll leave you with is when I drop things off or before they go into the donate pile, I think, if I saw this at a thrift store, would I pick it up? for $5, for $10? You can attach a dollar amount. And if the answer is no, if I wouldn't even buy it at a thrift store for $5, then why am I holding on to it? So ask yourself that question. Is this something you would pick up at a thrift store for $5 or a yard sale for $2 or $10, whatever it is? If your answer is no, then let it go. It feels really good, and I'm enjoying the space. I'm enjoying the piece on my main floor that doesn't have so much stuff. I'm looking forward to just really creating a beautiful home that has meaning in every corner and not just stuff. I'm really proud of myself for letting go of the things that just clutter my space, clutter my mind, clutter my home. Yeah, I don't know. There's something to be said for less stuff. Anyway, that's something that I've been thinking about lately. I would love to know if you have had some of these similar thoughts in your own life, or where you're at in your journey of letting go or acquiring. I mean, I remember when I was in my 20s and 30s, it was all about wanting more stuff and a bigger house and bigger rooms and better cars and more jewelry. And it was just all about the stuff. And now, as Jay's uncle says, I'm on the back nine of the golf course, and I am just kind of starting to let go more, and I never thought I would. So anyways, just my thoughts for today. I will be back soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.